to her.
Are you saying that I am the father?
Yes.
Caroline, darling, you are joking. Well, of course you are. You are, aren't you?
No, I am not joking. I have suspected for some time that you've been seeing someone else, although I didn't believe it was Mary.
Are you all right, darling?
Never felt better. A chance remark by Smithy the other day about Mary and a man in the ship confirmed my suspicions. You are despicable.
Darling, you don't believe I'm the father, do you? Look, if I wanted a fling, I'll pick someone with more brains for a start.
Oh, don't be disgusting. How many times has she dusted and cleaned your study?
What?
Well, she said you made her dust and clean your study every day. I thought she was stealing things, so I've been watching her.
Ah, so that's what this is all about.
I saw her go into your study yesterday, about 2:30. When she left at 4, she was hot and flustered. 10 minutes later, you came out grinning like a big fat Cheshire cat.
It's not what you think. You've mistaken, darling.
I'm not mistaken, darling. I know what's going on. You're vile, wicked, horrible. You disgust me. I don't know why I ever married you. Mother's money will set me free, and you'll never see a penny of it.
Shut up, you're hysterical!
That was the last time you will ever hit me, Richard Maltravers. Do you hear?
Get out. See if I care.
What am I going to do, Mrs. T?
Well, you've made your bed, now you've got to lie in it.
But Mrs. T, he said he'd leave her. He said that we could make a new star in America. We could buy a house in Hollywood. I would be able to rub shoulders with all the stars, Judy Garland, James Mason, Humphrey Bogart.
Well, here's looking at you, kid.
Oh, Mrs. T, please don't tease me.
You've been a very silly girl. You must have known that it wouldn't work. All his life, Richard Maltravers has only ever thought about one person, himself. Leopards don't change their spots.
What am I going to do?
Well, firstly, you must find out if you are expecting. Did you say Dr. Williams is coming round this evening? Get him to do some tests. Then if, and only if you are expecting, you must reach some sort of agreement with Mr. Maltravers. If it is his child,
I'm not that sort of a girl.
if it is his child, then he or the family must provide for you. And you'll need to make sure he pays a lot for his little bit of fun. I'll speak to Mrs. Maltravers. We go back a long way. A very long way. I'm sure I can see her, make her see sense and convince her to help you.
But why should she? I know Mr. Maltravers fits her. I've heard the arguments and I've seen the bruises. What can you say that would make her help me?
Have you ever wondered why Miss Rebecca has her father's eyes and her mother's features, but Alice bears very little resemblance to Richard Maltravers?
I just thought they were different.
Oh, they certainly are.
Veg for dinner are some really good potatoes, some parsnips and cabbage.
Parsnips? Oh, they never taste of anything till the first frost has come. Still, I'm sure they'll not notice. They'll have other things on their minds.
And how's our Mary? Blooming, are we? Oh, sorry, shouldn't tease. I believe congratulations are in order.
Please, Smithy, don't. Oh, there's the front door. I better go and see who it is.
Don't rush, we don't want anything happening.
Smith, you shouldn't tease her. She's upset. Haven't you ever made a mistake or done the wrong thing?
Well, only once. Didn't run fast enough at the song. Got bullied and he led me troubles.
Only once. I can think of at least one other.
Oh yeah?
Tavistock, May 16th, 1932.
Huh? You what? How'd you find out? How do you know?
Well, you forget. I was very close to Caroline's mother, Mrs. Tasker Bardell. I helped her to hush things up. It wasn't considered good form in those days to be carrying a child when you walked down the aisle, especially if it wasn't your husband's.
Why bring this up now? Especially today? I mean, you must have known this for what, 20 years? Why didn't you let on when I first arrived?
There's always a time and place for everything.
Have you told anyone else?
No, not yet.
Well, what do you want from me then?
I'm getting old, and Mr. Maltravers has already said he's going to get rid of me at the end of the year. He wants a younger person running the household.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
And I haven't saved a great deal. I see this as a way to secure a pension and at the same time help Mary with her current predicament.
Oh yeah?
You might like to persuade Mrs. Maltravers that the best way to keep my silence is to offer me a small sum of money to help me through my old age. Well, now she's inherited her mother's money, she can afford it.
You don't think I'll help you to pressure Mrs. Maltravers to pay you off, do you?
Of course. I intend to tell Richard Maltravers that the daughter he dotes on is not actually his. I bet he didn't call her Alice. Strange how it sounds like Alex, a boy's name, eh? A young lad who is no more. Of course, if Madam decides to offer me a nest egg for my retirement, well, then I might forget all about it.
You're evil, you are. How can you do this? Especially today.
Needs must, I'm afraid.
It's you, Dr. Williams. Please come in and I'll inform Mr. Maltravers that you're here. Please wait in the drawing room.
Certainly. My, Mary, you are looking radiant. You're growing into a beautiful young woman. I remember when I delivered you. Such a pretty baby, but now you're a real stunner.
If you wait in the drawing room, please, Doctor.
I understand you've been doing some naughty things, eh, Mary? Naughty, but perhaps nice. Mr. Maltravers telephoned asking me to examine you to confirm that you are pregnant. Then almost immediately I got a telephone call from Mrs. Maltravers asking the same. Does anyone talk to anyone in this house anymore?
I don't know, sir.
So, do you want me to examine you now, or shall we wait until after dinner when I can approach things in a more relaxed frame of mind? Yes, I think a full examination is called for.
I don't want one.
By the way, I wouldn't continue to wear that tight little dress. Although it is very pleasing on the eyes, it's unlikely to help you in your condition. You've got to think of the child now.
I don't want an examination, especially from you.
No, I am a doctor. I've seen it all before, Mary.
Well, you're not seeing mine. I want nothing to do with you.
Very funny. You know, you're stunningly attractive when you try to be funny and angry at the same time.
Doctor, please, the drawing room.
Very well. Perhaps we shall renew our conversation after dinner.
I don't think so.
Do I hear Harold?
Oh, good evening, Richard.
About bloody time too. Have you got it? Let's go into my study.
Well, I must say she has tremendous fire, spirit and passion, that Mary. Is she like that when you have your little liaisons between the sheets?
Look, she's expecting I'm the father, and you fix her up.
If you mean what I think you mean, then that's illegal.
Well, that's never stopped you before, has it?
Those were different times. I couldn't just stand by and watch young girls ruin their lives after a simple dalliance with a GI. Things are a lot stricter now.
I'm sure that the General Medical Council will be more than interested in some of your extracurricular activities. For example, prescription forgery or obtaining and prescribing fake penicillin.
I didn't know it was fake. You said it was the real thing. The best that Uncle Sam could produce. I needed it to help Doris Crookshank. She was in terrible pain, Richard. A simple dose of penicillin would have cured her. There was no gain or malice involved.
But you can't say the same thing about morphine deals, can you, Doctor? Speaking of which, where is it? You said you would get me 10 ampules by midweek. It is now the weekend, so where is it?
Oh, I have it. But do you have the money? A little bird tells me that Richard Maltravis's finances are not very well. Indeed, the word that is, that the situation is terminal.
You'll get your money when I get the morphine. I think you can wait, don't you? Otherwise, I might be tempted to send the empty ampules to the police with a short anonymous letter explaining all.
You won't get away with this forever. The regulations are getting stricter, Richard, especially as they realise that ex-servicemen have a higher dependency and addiction to morphine than they first thought.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Meanwhile, I need another 15 ampules by Saturday week. So where is today's delivery?
It's in my car. I'll go and get it. But the price of the next lot has gone up. I need to make a provision for an unexpected early retirement. I think £10 is a fair price, cash of course.
You are a shyster as well as a pervert. I'll have to see if my other suppliers can undercut you. Meanwhile, get me this week's delivery. Come. It's you, Smithy. Is it quick? I have a meeting with Dr. Williams.
Yeah, it's quick. I don't think it would be wise to get that quack to induce an abortion for Mary. In fact, the decent thing that a decent man would do would be to help her out financially and tell her that everything would be all right.
Who said anything about abortions? They're illegal.
Mary said you would arrange for her to get rid of it. In fact, didn't I just see Dr. Williams getting his tools out of the car?
I shouldn't think so. He may have gone to get his bag so that he can examine Mary. But he's certainly not going to do anything else.
Well, let's hope that's the case, because otherwise the police might be very interested in some of your friends that I've driven you to see. I have a very good memory for places and faces, so just you remember that when you're deciding how much compensation you intend to give Mary. While you're about it, I'll take the wages that you owe me and consider this the end of a very unpleasant friendship.
You're leaving?
Yeah. Any objections?
No, of course not. Everyone is a free agent. It's your right to pick and choose as you see fit. Come back in 10 minutes and I'll have your money waiting. You can get out and I hope I'll never see you again.
10 minutes. I'll be in the kitchen if you manage to straighten it together sooner. This is tea. He's in there, but I wouldn't advise you discussing historical events. if you get me drift, especially ones in Devon.
What's Smithy talking about?
Excuse me, sir. Could I have a couple of words with you? It's about Mary, sir. Oh, also, I need to tell you something about your wife and Miss Alice.
Yeah, they'll have to wait, Mrs. Taylor. I'm awfully busy. Go and see if they want drinks in the drawing room and come back in 10 minutes.
Very well, sir.
Doctor, would you come in here, please?
Is it important? I'm in the middle of talking to Richard about something.
I just wanted to ask when you will examine Mary. I telephoned you this afternoon and explained the dreadful circumstances.
Yes, I hadn't forgotten. I shall examine her after dinner. Now, if you don't mind, I must go and finish my business with Richard.
Oh, do please stay and have an aperitif with us. I'm sure Richard won't mind waiting a few more minutes. We hardly see you these days.
Oh, very well. A sherry, please, Mary.
Could I have one too, please, Mary? Good evening, Doctor. I presume you want me on Monday, as usual.
Yes, we have a large number of forms to complete. This National Health Service is becoming increasingly bureaucratic. I tell you what, if it continues like this, and the patients will suffer, mark my words, we'll have to have managers, not doctors, to make it work.
Perhaps I should change my job title from receptionist to secretary.
Yes. Perhaps I might even have to employ a secretary after all these damn forms.
I assume that the patients get their medicine, despite the bureaucracy.
Yes, just about. It's better than it was during the war.
So there are no shortages then?
None to speak of.
It's a pity my mother didn't cut herself this week instead of 10 years ago.
Yes.
Have you asked Daddy yet, John?
No, let's have a scene before dinner.
Good. I'm sure it's seen reasons since this afternoon.
Dinner will be in 15 minutes, Ma'am. Mary, go down to the kitchen and make sure everything is simmering nicely.
Very well, Mrs. T.
Shall I go and tell Mr. Maltravers?
Oh, yes, in a few minutes. Before that, could I have a sherry, please?
Certainly, Ma'am.
I shall not be taking lunch tomorrow. Smithy is driving me down to Tavistock.
Oh, are you going to see Grandmama?
Yes. Alice, I want to speak to you after dinner, so don't go rushing off, will you?
Will there be anything else, Ma'am? I'd better get back to the kitchen. The smell of all that food will probably set Mary off again.
Yes, I think that would be wise.
I'd better pop upstairs and get changed. I didn't realise what time.
Oh, please make it quick. I do want to wait. Oh, hello, Rebecca.
Going to make myself look pretty, sis. Sorry I'm late, Mummy. I've been trying to capture the evening light over the river. It's very atmospheric and surreal this time of year.
Oh, that's all right. There's still a few minutes left.
Oh, by the way, Father says could you go and see him now before dinner? He says he wants to ask you something.
Very well. Oh, why couldn't Richard have asked to see me earlier?
If you'll excuse me as well, I think I've left something in my car.
Typical. I come home once in a blue moon and nobody wants to see me. Oh well, I suppose I'd better scrub up too. Don't want to get paint all over the dining table.
Come in. Ah, it's you, is it? Well, what do you want? Come on, I haven't got all night. I say, what are you doing? Get away from that desk. Now, come on, put that down, it's loaded, you know. What the hell are you doing? No!
For the next 30 minutes, our esteemed group of talented actors will circulate amongst you. They will truthfully answer any questions you care to put to them as part of your attempt to discover who the murderer is. Please interrogate them to the best of your abilities. You should remember that these people are skilled at conveying an illusion, so any hesitation over a particular question may not be an indication on their part that they are the guilty party. Before we start, however, each cast member will appear on stage in turn. When they do, may we have a show of hands as to whether you think that individual has done the dastardly deed. So, may I introduce Caroline Maltravers. Those of you who believe she's a scheming murderess, please raise your hands. Next is Alice Maltravers. Those of you who think sweet Alice is the guilty one, please raise your hands. Rebecca Maltravers. If you think that it was a case of patricide, then raise your hand